Hello, I am back in my happiest place. I am now in Malaga. It's my third year in a row that I'm actually in Malaga in October, so I guess it is an established yearly tradition now. And this time Ben was able to join, so we are both here. And we actually picked these dates because there is a 10K in Malaga this weekend and we have both entered it. I first heard about this 10K race 2 years ago in 2022, literally I was in Malaga, and on the day of the race, I realized there was a 10K going on, and I thought, well, I've got to take part at some point. And then last year, it fell on the exact same day as the Valencia half, which I was doing, so I couldn't be at both races at the same time. And this year, the timing couldn't be more perfect because it is this weekend, which is exactly 2 weeks before Valencia half. And what do I like to do? 2 weeks before a half marathon race, I like to do a little tune-up 10K. So honestly, it worked out perfectly. I have just done my last run before the race tomorrow. It was an easy 6 kilometers. I'm just a bit out of breath now because afterwards I did strides and I just finished those strides. So if you've watched the previous video that I posted last week, you will have seen that it was my peak week of training in this Valencia half marathon block, and also my biggest week ever. For the very first time, I ran 90 kilometers in 1 week. And this week it is definitely coming down. It will be nowhere near as big of a week. So I did an easy 8 kilometer Monday. Tuesday I had an interval session. It was 10-minute tempo, 6 by 1 minute at around 10k pace, and then 10-minute tempo again with the warm up and cool down and the little recoveries in between. That would have been 14 point something kilometers. Wednesday was the day we traveled here to Malaga. I did not run. Thursday, the first run in Malaga was an easy hour with 4 times 30 seconds pickups in the middle. Yesterday, just an easy 8k, and finally this morning, easy 6k and some strides. Let's talk about this Malaga 10k for a minute. So the course has changed this year compared to the previous year. So I can't quite go on Strava, find participants from the previous editions to check out the course, the elevation and everything. Can't do that. In terms of kit, I am not gonna go with my official Say Sky Racing kit because I want that the next time I wear it, it is for Valencia half. So I'm gonna go with, well, it's basically the same design but just a different colorway. It's not quite the official athlete kit. For the shoe, I'm going with my oldest pair of On Cloud Eco 3. I am saving the freshest, newest pair for Valencia half, and we already have our race number, so tomorrow we can just turn up. There is nothing else to do. It is actually the very first thing I did Wednesday. Once we landed, checked in here, before I even went to the supermarket to get groceries, I went to pick up our race numbers because a part of me was a bit worried that maybe we were not registered or something. It was on the Malaga website with the date confirmed for ages. The entries didn't open until 2 weeks ago, or maybe not even 2 weeks ago. So, you know, we had booked the flights and the accommodation and everything, and we still didn't have the race entry. So I was freaking out a bit, and I was like, is the race going to actually take place? Finally, entries opened, so we registered, and then we didn't get an email confirmation. So I'm like, what is going on? Turns out they do not send you an email to confirm that you are registered. Okay. But then I could see our names on the entry list online. The thing is, some names had a bib number assigned to them, some didn't. So again, I'm like, what is going on? So yes, the first thing I did was to go pick up a race number to ensure that we were actually going to take part in this race. In terms of expectations, I'd really like to do a low 39 or a sub 39. Now the challenge will be the humidity, and I'm not used to it. It does seem to affect my heart rate a little bit. So yeah, we'll just see how tomorrow goes. Ben has just set off because he's got to do 5 miles before the race even starts. That's another 10k sandwich situation just like a couple weeks ago. So yeah, he's doing his warm-up, but then he'll come back here, put his race top on, and then head over to the race. Meanwhile, for me, it's just a standard 2 to 3K warm-up, maximum 15 minutes. It is now 8:27. The race starts in an hour at 9:30. The start line is about 1.5 kilometers away from here, so I don't need to rush too much. At the same time, I don't want to be there too last minute because I feel like it might be a bit hectic. I'm not quite sure whether there will be, starting pens based on your expected finish time. So if everyone is trying to be as much at the front as possible, I cannot be there last.
I was fourth too?
Yeah. So just as I was about to head over to the start line this morning, it started to rain rather heavily. The thing here is that when it rains, it is torrential and the streets get flooded very easily. And on my warm-up, I was already dodging puddles and I couldn't avoid them all, and my shoes got soaked and the course was just a puddle fest. But every runner was on the same boat. Definitely should have done the course recce because I just wasn't prepared for this many inclines on this course. For some reason, I kind of assumed they would be pan flat, as if we were running by the beach, which we were not. And yeah, I should have been more prepared because yes, the overall elevation gain wasn't huge. It was, I think, just shy of 50 meters, but in some sections, like honestly, it was challenging, especially the second kilometer with 14 meters of elevation gain. That incline, it just felt like it was going on and on and on and it wouldn't stop. But on the flip side, the course did have some nice downhills as well. I just, should have done a course recce really. Now, at the time of recording this, I do not have a chip time and I don't know if I will. The thing is, we had chips at the back of our race numbers, but this morning, there were no timing mats to be seen. Not at the start, not at the finish. Maybe because it was so heavily raining, they couldn't use them. I don't know. What I know is that I was in the first few rows of runners. Started about 1 second after the gun went off and I finished. The clock was saying 38:58. It says 38:57, which I think is correct, give or take a second. And the sub 39 today really wasn't a guarantee. At some point I even wondered if I was gonna make it under 40 minutes. So yes, I'm quite relieved that I just about scraped under. Of course, I would have preferred to finish a little more comfortably under 39 minutes, but overall, given the weather conditions today, I'd say it's a pretty positive tune-up race 2 weeks before the big one, the one that actually really matters. Oh, and I finished 4th lady, which, I wasn't really expecting to rank this high, so that's pretty cool. There were quite a few spectators out on the street, more than I thought considering the dreadful weather, and they were really encouraging. I heard a few "Vamos, campeona" and all of that, and at some point one spectator told me that I was 5th lady, and I kind of thought, that can't really be true, can it? And then I passed a lady on the course, and then maybe 1 kilometer before the finish line, another spectator told me that I was 4th lady. So I thought, oh, okay, that must be true. Across the finish line, Ben was obviously already here waiting for me, and he confirmed that I was 4th lady. And Ben also finished 4th, actually, 4th male, in a time of 31:14 according to his Strava, which is pretty much matching his PB from 2 weeks ago. So I did a much shorter cooldown than planned because the rain was really getting on my nerves. But this afternoon, when the sun came back, then I headed out again and I did a little post-race shakeout to make up for it. I did about 3.5 kilometers, brings me to a total of 65.4 kilometers of running for the week. That is 25 kilometers less than last week. It is almost taper time, and I made it to the gym twice this week. There were plenty of races going on this weekend, so congrats to everyone who raced anywhere in the world. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are not subscribed to my channel yet, do not make me say it. You know what to do. See you in the next one. Bye!